We are one step closer to finding out exactly what caused the Surfside Condos in Florida to collapse in 2021, leaving 98 people dead. Federal investigators with the National Institute of Standards and Technology released some of their initial findings Thursday. They focused on a potential failure of the pool deck that could have triggered the collapse of Champlain Towers South. A final conclusion as to what caused that failure is still years away. CBS News national correspondent Manuel Bojorquez joins me now from Miami. Manny, exactly what did this preliminary investigation say?
Well, as you mentioned, they're focusing a lot on that pool deck and going all the way back to the construction and design of that building. So in this presentation today, they said that the original design fell well short of construction codes and also the construction itself. There were improper placement of steel reinforcement, those steel rods that go within the concrete. They just were not spaced correctly according to the evidence that they have been looking at. So, in other words, the columns that went into the underground parking garage that sustained that pool deck, they just were not meant to sustain that much weight, is what they were saying here. But on top of that, throughout the years, there were renovations and additions that were not part of the original design. So they added pavers, they added sand to some of those areas, adding to the weight. And at one point, they added these really big planters. And at one point, they had palm trees on them. They went as far to say that even the swaying of the palm trees back and forth over a prolonged period of time could do something to further weaken all those other deficiencies that were there.
And the building had there were reports 3 years before the collapse, and engineers said there was major structural damage. Did this preliminary report say anything about that? Why nothing was done sooner to stop this tragedy from happening?
They didn't address that specifically, but they did point back to all of the people they have spoken with in regards to this, all of the reports they have poured through and all the evidence they have gathered. So they say they have spoken to witnesses who noticed that there were leaks and cracks in certain areas before the collapse. That's going to be a big part of the investigation. And of course, all of that material after the bodies were recovered was taken to a warehouse on the mainland, on the Miami side. And that's where they've been looking at everything, including the makeup of the concrete. So again, as you mentioned, they're not willing to say, look, this is what triggered the collapse that night, but they're willing to say at this point that this is where we're focusing as far as deficiencies that were part of that building.
And how much longer will it be before this investigation is done? And what more are they expected to deliver once the investigation's done?
What we heard today is they've got 6 more months of investigating. There could be delays, of course, so it could be some time before we get a final conclusion. At the very end of the day here, what they want to do is 2 things. Give answers to the families and the victims who desperately want to know exactly what happened here, but also if there are lessons to be learned here for construction that is yet to be built or buildings that already exist, especially here in Florida. They want to know how to do things like retrofitting or make sure that codes and things are not done improperly as they were the first time to prevent something like this from happening again.
Manuel Bojorquez in Miami. Thank you.
Thank you.